Oh, yes, what is up, everybody? My name is Gundai, and today I am with Pastor Mukudzei. Pastor Mukudzei is Prophet Advocate Joshua's wife, so we are going to be hearing her story. So, Pastor Mukudzei, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me here, Kundi. Mukudzei Moyo is a lady aged 24 years old, and as you alluded, married to Prophet Advocate Joshua. Well, I come from Shishavane in the Midlands province. That's where I grew up. I attended Munene High School, Munene Primary up to high school. That's where I did all my studies, all my preliminary studies there. And I then proceeded to Midlands State University, where I pursued my degree in law. That's where I met Prophet Advocate Joshua. I'm a lawyer by profession. I actually graduated 3 weeks ago. How I met Prophet Advocate Joshua is actually it's an interesting story. He was in his 5th year by then, finishing up on his studies, and I was in my 2nd year. So one fateful Friday afternoon, I was in the library doing my final touch-ups, my assignments and all. I went outside the library and he was standing there alone, and he called me and he said, can I talk to you? And I was like, this guy. I've only heard about him from people. There's a prophet here, Prophet Advocate Joshua is a lawyer, and people will be talking all the buzz about him. So I then said, hi. I was a bit, afraid, I guess. It was a bit intimidating. Me meeting him for the first time, I assumed that maybe he had seen something in the spirit that he wanted to tell me. So I was like, how are you, Prophet? And I was like, I always see you around law school. What level are you in? I told him, and then he took my number. So he texted later that night, hi, it's Prophet. And I was like, how are you, Prophet? I hope everything is fine. Little did I know that he had other intentions, and he asked me out, and I deliberated a bit, and then eventually I said yes to him. So our relationship started from law school back there. And it blossomed. It's actually about 3 years. Initially, I thought that he would use the God showed me thing, but he did not say that. He was like, I've been observing you for the past month, and there are some characteristics about you that I like, and do you mind that we go out on a date and let's see how far we can go with this thing, He was loyally about it, him being a lawyer as well, so it was not a stiff, church thing. It was quite fun and flexible, and I discovered that we had many things in common, so I was like, why not go for it? And here we are. Prophet Advocate Joshua is a very humble and generous man, if I may say so. He is a highly anointed man that I've been privileged enough to get to know intimately, not only as a prophet, but as my husband as well. He is someone who takes the things of God very, very seriously, and he's so passionate. I think I've learned to take things of God more seriously since I've met him as well. He's very passionate about things of God. He's very passionate about charity work. He's very passionate about the legal profession. He is someone who manages to juggle all those responsibilities that he has. It's actually quite amazing that he manages the legal profession, it being so demanding as it is, and the church thing, it being so demanding as it is. So what I can say about him is that he is a passionate man of God who loves people, who adores people, who has people at heart, and who likes to see the vision of the church going very far. I guess over time I've learned to look at things with a spiritual eye and realize that, I should give him some time. This is the time that he has with God, that he should have with God, and this is the time that we should have as a family. And I think I am learning to balance it all and to relate him on different platforms. I have to learn to relate with him as a man of God. I have to learn to relate with him as my husband. I have to learn to relate with him as a prophet. So I guess if you are passionate about something, or if you are committed to something, it's not really difficult for you to balance all those things or to relate to those things. You find a way to, to relate to them. So sometimes it's a bit tough, you'll be having a family thing during the weekend, maybe you've gone out and then someone will call you, man of God, I need assistance, can you please come over here and help me on this one? It's a bit difficult, but when I went into this thing, I told myself, Kote, I have to be a supporter, I have to be his helper. So I can't then take, a distance approach and be blaming him. Yeah, going out this time, I have to be helping him. Instead of us, we have to face things together as a family. And I think that way, if we work together, it's easy for us, for me as well as a wife, to relate to the things that he does as a man of God. So it's really not difficult because he's also supportive as well. He tries to involve me in all the things that he does. If it's something about the ministry, you'll be like, baby, is it okay if we go together? Is it okay if we do this and this together? So it's quite easy for me then to relate to him as a man of God and as a husband and as a lawyer. So I think it's actually a privilege that he's someone who is willing to teach me some things, about ministry, about the vision of our church, about, his profession and all those things. So it's quite easy for me, if I may say so. During the time that I've got to know him, as a person, I've been blown away by how God operates in his life in so many ways. Besides all the prophecies that he has given me over time, his life history on its own is something that I am actually convinced that indeed he is a true man of God. Where he came from, what he has been through, and how he conquered all that, to become who he is today is something that really amazes me about the faithfulness and the greatness of God. There was this time we were having a Tuesday. We have Tuesday services. We have a Tuesday service at church. It was during the night, and then there came this woman who has been mentally ill for some time. She was clearly distraught. She was wearing torn clothes. You could tell that she's someone who is in a clear, painful situation. She came to church. They had their relatives with them as well. She came to church and they were like, man of God, please pray for our sister. She has been mentally disturbed for quite some time, and we've gone to every place possible to have her help, but there is nothing. They've gone to hospitals, they've gone to other ministries and as well. He prayed over that woman, and you know what? She just came to her mind. She was like, where am I? And even up to now, if you see that woman, you'll be shocked. But is that the woman who came to church some time ago? She came back to her senses. It was actually quite amazing, and it got me so emotional that I was like, wow. So God, you made me meet this man, with this mighty man. Who am I to deserve all that? There's been quite a number of incidents. We had a person in South Africa who had HIV and AIDS. We prayed over her. She got okay. We had, there's a lot of stuff that he has done over time that God has used him to do. That really shows me that indeed he's a true man of God. If there is one thing that I don't doubt, is the anointing at work in his life. I might doubt all other things, but what I know is that he's a highly anointed man of God. God really uses him in mighty, mighty ways.
Wow.
The fact that he established a church even at that age, is something that's really extraordinary. Don't expect a 23-year-old man to, establish a church. At that time, normally you won't be thinking about starting a ministry or, leading people to a certain destiny, but he did all that. So those are the things that really show me that he really is a true man of God. I've also had relatives who you pray over the phone and they get okay, and I've also had classmates and all that. So
Wow.
I really don't doubt the anointing upon his life, yes. He taught me, Kuti, you have to learn to take the good as well as the bad. So, all the criticisms, we take that in our stride as well, it's okay, it's fine, not everyone will see what God has deposited in him. Even Jesus, at some point, people will doubt him and say, are you really the one? Or, they will doubt him. So, he has taught me, Kuti, you have to accept the criticism as well. It's part of the long journey, it's part of the vision. If you want to have people who will be trying to pull you down, then that means you're basically going nowhere. So at first I was, I would get emotional. I would read the comments and I would see people, attacking you. And I'm like, baby, look, why? You should say something. But it would be like, no, it's okay. You have to learn to accept that. You have to learn to love people despite their belief in you, despite whether they believe in you or not. So You know, I now take it gracefully, if I may say. It's part of the mission. He has a thick skin, you know. He doesn't usually get disturbed over what people, you know, say about him, and I admire it about him. Naturally, I was a person who was a bit, you know, if someone says something bad about him, it would bother me for days. But why would you say that? But he has taught me, because in ministry, you have to be someone who's very strong. You have to be someone who's very focused. You know, he always taught me about the story of Peter. You know, when Jesus was coming, walking on water, and he was like, Peter, come over here. You know, the moment he started looking sideways, he lost focus.
Yeah.
You know, he always says you have to be focused on the fishing. You know, you know where we are going, and do not get distracted over what's surrounding you or what's around you. You know, if you have Jesus in your boat, if you have God on your side, that's enough and that's adequate. Under his guidance, you know, I do hold some preaching sessions, and I lead intercession at times. You know, besides him being my husband, he's also my spiritual mentor and my father, someone I look up to spiritually. It's not easy, me coming from a non-Pentecostal background. You know, I grew up going to Lutheran church. It's not Pentecostal at all. So he's a very patient man. He teaches me everything that I know up to now, and I look up to him. You know, and sometimes when I don't understand something, I'll go to him. Prophet, how do I go about this thing? How do I tackle this thing? And it's quite easy when you have someone over you who is very passionate about teaching, you know, who is patient with you. So sometimes I do preach at our church. I do hold intercession sessions. We also have some ladies' conference things we do over the weekends, you know, functions and all that. It was a bit difficult at first, you know. You have those thoughts and those things, myths you grew up with. Prophet stuff, you know, these prophets, these new prophets, they're dangerous and all that. But he opened my eyes to a lot of things, I must say. You know, I was blinkered. You know, I didn't know some things about this spirit, you know, about all that. But he taught me, you know, bit by bit, you know, step by step. And the transition was quite smooth. You know, it was not, he did not force me, you know, to have to understand this, you know. He took it upon himself to teach me and to be patient with me. I remember the first time he prophesied to me. We were actually coming from school, from the library. It was quite late, around 4 p.m. And he was like, do you know someone who was born on such and such date? You know, I've always known that he was a prophet, and I respected him for that. But he had never, you know, told me something intimate about myself. And then I was so shocked, because that's the exact date my mom was born. So I was like, how did you know my mom's age? And how did you know my mom's birthday? You know, I was so shocked. And he told me, you know, I was seeing this. That's the first time that I got so close to the prophetic that I was like, wow. But after that incident, you know, my understanding of him, it grew deeper, and my respect for him grew so deep, because I was like, how did he know my mom's birthday? And also, the second time he prophesied to me, he gave me the exact location and the exact makeup of our house, which was so amazing. He was like, I went to your house. He had never been there before. I went to your house, and the first room I entered was this, and then I turned like this, and there's the bathroom over here, and it's the exact makeup of our house. I was like, wow. Oh yes, we do counseling. Some people come to us way older than us, and we end up counseling them, and they, you know, they'll be giving us the feedback. But you know what, guys, the counseling you gave us, it really worked. Our marriage is not perfect, or our family issues are not perfect. So, you know, we actually appreciate God for granting us the wisdom. First and foremost, I am his helper. You know, I am his rib, and I am his helper. Even the Bible says, you know, I am the helper. It's the wife, I am supposed to be the helper. So I guess for the ministry to go forward, I have to first pray for him, you know, as the leader and as the foundation of the ministry. Mm-hmm. So my role in the ministry is to help him, is to be there for him. And besides that, I have to be the mother. And I might be younger than them in some way, but you know, they are our children. Someone who carries the vision of the church at heart, you know. So I believe those are my roles in the church.